Good evening, my Renews Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for January 26, 2024. And in the news this evening, eyewitness recalls the screaming and the cries for help after deadly market truck crash. A Good Samaritan who witnessed the Friday morning's accident in Darlington, Westmoreland, that left one market vendor dead and the 6 others nursing injuries in hospital, says he's still in a state of shock over the tragedy. Steve Perrin was riding his motorcycle when he witnessed the deadly crash. "I was traveling behind the truck on a motorcycle, and when I look, me see when the truck leave off of the sleeping police and started to speed," Perrin recalled in an interview with the news. He said the pillion on his motorcycle pointed out that the truck appeared to be malfunctioning. "The guy that was on the bike with me say, 'Steve, it look like something wrong, why the truck a speed so?' And me say, 'You know, sister, the truck a get out of control,'" the distraught man said. Perrin said he's traumatized and can still hear the truck driver screaming out for help. "Me come down here and see the truck driver stuck, bawling out, 'Steve, help me please.' I was so shocked, I just started pulling out the steering wheel and nobody was there to help," Perrin said. The deceased, a male, has been identified by residents by his alias Mass Tim. Darlington Division Councillor Jerome Bacchus of the People's National Party said the community is in mourning. "It is not easy on the community, family members nor myself. I want to offer my sincerest condolences to the family member at this time. Our community is shaken as we have lost over 5 males from our community from fatal crashes," Bacchus told the news. He further noted that the crash was not as a result of speeding, but a mechanical issue. "I am sure that it was not a speeding problem based on the terrain, but I am sure it is a mechanical problem," he lamented. However, he also took the opportunity to appeal to road users in his community and the wider Jamaica to be cautious. St. Elizabeth ice cream vendor killed in armed robbery. An ice cream vendor and a farmer of Elam on Thursday became the 3rd reported murder victim in St. Elizabeth. Clive Williams, 51, otherwise called Creamy, was killed about 8:30 p.m. It is reported that 2 armed men kicked in the back door to Mr. Williams' house and demanded money. Paulette Williams recounted, despite his pleas for his life to be spared.
"They ask the money and they have money in the bathroom, so me say, give it to them. And I say, him and this no come for man. Take it and go along, man. And me say, beg for your life, you know, sir. Man, no shoot me already, man. Nobody kill me. Nobody kill me, man. And the man, them still kill him. He dropped right at the doorway of the bathroom and they say, he dropped."
This jockey hospitalized after being doused with boiling water. A St. Anne-based disc jockey has been hospitalized in serious condition after he was doused with boiling water by his girlfriend. The incident occurred Thursday at his home in Linton Park, St. Anne. The 22-year-old girlfriend is being sought by the police. It is reported that about 8 a.m., Mr. Harris was at home in bed when he was allegedly attacked by his girlfriend, who threw boiling water at him, causing severe burns to his face and upper body. He was rushed to hospital for treatment. The woman left the scene. Ganja seized in package at a central sorting office. The narcotics police have launched a probe into the seizure of a quantity of ganja in a package at the central sorting office at the Norman Manley International Airport. The seizure of illicit drugs was made Thursday. It is reported that security personnel were conducting checks on outgoing shipments at the airport when they detected anomalies in a package destined for the United States. The narcotics police were summoned and a carton box with the ganja seized. Clarendon man mobbed after using fake gun in robbery charged. A man who was mobbed after using a fake gun to rob 3 persons in Maypen, Clarendon, has been charged by the police. 33-year-old Ronald Watson, otherwise called Ronaldo, a laborer of Woodside district in the parish, is charged with 3 counts of robbery with aggravation, unauthorized possession of a prohibited weapon, and using a prohibited weapon to commit a felony. Watson is already before the court in relation to another robbery. He was charged on Wednesday. The police report that about 11:45 p.m., Watson brandished a black object resembling a handgun and held up and robbed 3 persons along Church Street in Maypen. He robbed them of personal items including 4 cell phones and a total of $150. It is alleged that one of the victims realized that the object was not a real firearm and raised an alarm. The victims then started to chase Watson and solicited the help of residents who were along the roadway. He was forced to stop by residents who mobbed him. He was searched and the phones were found in his possession. Watson was later rescued by the police and taken into custody and interviewed. He gave a caution statement to the police in the presence of justices of the peace, confessing to the crime. His court date is being finalized. Man driving car without license plates held with a gun in St. James. A man driving a car with no registration plates was arrested in St. James on Thursday night following the seizure of a firearm. His identity is being withheld pending further investigations. Reports from the Montego Bay Police are that about 7:30 p.m., a team was on patrol along the Farm Heights main road when a white Nissan AD wagon motor car with no registration plate affixed was seen. The driver was signaled to stop. He complied. The police say he was searched and a Taurus G3 pistol with an empty magazine was taken from his waistband. The vehicle was searched and another empty magazine was found. He was subsequently taken into custody. Civil Service Association slaps a NEPO. The Jamaica Civil Service Association has rebuked the National Environment and Planning Agency for its decision to interdict the officer who was the first to highlight breaches at the housing development owned by National Water Commission President Mark Barnett and his wife Annette. At the same time, JCSA has called for an immediate amendment to the public service regulations, charging that various managers have been weaponizing the interdiction provision to victimize workers. We have seen our members suffer reputational damage and a significant loss of income, which lasted for many years. This has a devastating psychological effect not only on the individuals, but also on their families, especially in circumstances where the public servant is acquitted. What would be better is administrative leave with a full salary pending the outcome of the investigations, because in that case, the public servant should be considered innocent until proven guilty, the JCSA said Thursday. The worker, Ryan Henry, who had a responsibility for monitoring the housing complex at 11 Charlie Mount Drive in St. Andrew to ensure compliance with the permit, had, during a site visit in 2020, found discrepancies with what was approved initially. The officer, in accordance with his duties, compiled a report which he submitted to a supervisor with recommendations that a warning letter be issued to Barnett to come into compliance within 7 days. Several reports later, another officer went on site and made similar observations and recommendations. The reports of both individuals were factored into an investigation by the Integrity Commission, which found that the couple breached the building, planning, and environmental permits. The IC then sought the ruling of Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn, on the allegations of irregularities in the approval and the post-permit monitoring processes. The DPP, who agreed with the Integrity Commission that Barnett was in breach of the National Resources Conservation Authority Act and the Building Act, however, ruled that although the allegations supported the laying of criminal charges against the Barnetts, there could be no prosecution, as criminal action is statute barred, given that the initiation of prosecution is time-sensitive and was not initiated within 12 months of the breach being identified. Henry was last Wednesday called into a meeting at NEPO's Caledonia Avenue premises in the corporate area and served with the notice of his interdiction. The other officer remains on the job. The JCSA, in a statement issued to the media, said it is mindful of the impact of the interdiction on public servants and has long questioned the notion of fairness and natural justice in whatever circumstances a public servant might find themselves in if a breach of their employment occurs. While we understand that there is a provision in the public service regulations to administer the process of interdiction, the JCSA rejects its use in the current form before a thorough investigation is conducted to determine if the officer is charged for the offense, the association said. It pointed out further that any employee accused of breaching the terms and conditions of employment must be allowed to have a hearing so that they can be given the chance to defend themselves against the allegations. The JCSA said it believes that the measure is punitive, as a punishment administered without conducting a hearing is tantamount to injustice because there is a lack of urgency in some cases for investigators to conclude in a reasonable time or for the matter to be heard and settled as quickly as possible. Vindictive management uses interdiction in its current form as a weapon to victimize workers and to cause them undue financial hardship. And it reduces the salary of public officers, in some cases, to half or three-quarter pay. In such circumstances, it is important for a hearing to be had at the earliest time possible, as the people's lives will be impacted, considering that they are not allowed to work while on interdiction, the association declared. As such, the JCSA said it is calling for the section of the PSR that speaks to interdiction to be immediately amended to include a timeline for these cases to be concluded. In the same way, we have legislation with a timeline to dispose of cases statute barred. The JCSA said it will continue to protect the rights of the workers, and we believe that interdiction is a breach of these rights based on how it is currently being used. The association said it stands in solidarity with its members at NEPO and will do everything in its power to protect their rights. On Tuesday, head of the Union of Clerical Administrative and Supervisory Employees and the senior trade unionist Vincent Morrison questioned the role of NEPO's board during the initial discovery of breaches at the housing development and charged that the interdiction of the inspector is suspect. In the meantime, the news has learned that staff at NEPO is restive, with many up in arms about the way Henry was treated by management.